boxes, certificates, and the condition on this one was never polished.
Okay, so the estimate is 200 to 400,000. Welcome back, watch fans. We have an amazing episode for you today. We have a follow-up on the Future Grail Patek Philippe auction. We did last week. We had the interview with Ali. He's the CEO and the founder of the auction house, and now we have Arnaud Tellier, who's joining us. He is the specialist in-house, and of course, he's also one of the world's leading expert on Patek Philippe. Being, I think you worked. You worked at the. I think you were the original director of the Patek Museum. If is that right?
Yes. Hello, everybody. First of all, yes, I established and run the museum between 2000 and 2012.
Okay, so that's an amazing run, and so you had incredible access to the archives. You handled incredible watches, and we can get into it. I think you also, you were responsible for adding to the collection, curating the collection, and you're also a very talented watchmaker. I actually saw one of your the watch that you created, which was amazing. Maybe we can talk about that later, but that was way ahead of its time.
But basically, I am from French origin. I coming in Switzerland when I was 20 years old to finish my graduation as a regular watchmaker. 4 years of school in Switzerland, and after I specialized for 2 years in the Museum of Horology, International Horology in La Chaux-de-Fonds to graduate as a technician in restoration of antique watches. In 1990, I joined Antiquorum, the company who was founded by Osvaldo Patrizzi, and I work with him and experts like Jean-Claude Sabrier, Simon Bull, and I was trainee as an expert during this period. And in 2000, I joined Patek Philippe to establish the museum. The museum opened in November 2001, and I worked for them just less 12 years. And after I become independent, and since a few months I'm working with Mr. Ali Nael in Singapore for Future Grail.
Okay, so it's amazing. So this is, you're a tremendous resource for this auction house, and so we're going to have some interesting discussion on Patek. And again, so right now, so September 14th, which is 2 days from now, is going to be the auction. It's online. And I think we covered a couple of the lots last time, but today I want to kind of dive into a few of the lots. Let me bring up on screen, and maybe you can show a couple of these. I just want to mention some of the pocket watches. You actually have some I think really good prices right now. Again, it's still early. It's an auction, so you never know if somebody comes in at the last minute, but the prices are very good. You have the buyer's premium is only 5%, which is, that's a big plus. Now I want to, there's a couple of lots I'm actually kind of interested in myself. So can you bring up lot 4, the pocket watch here?
Yes, I have this watch right now in my hands. It's a really nice watch. Wow. In really good condition. It's a typical of what they call at the time modern case. It was a new shape of dress watch. This dress watch coming back in fashion after the World War, because during the World War, of course, people start to wear the watch on the wrist, And after the World War, for evening or things like that, they start to wear ultra thin pocket watches in a three-piece suit with a gold chain or a platinum chain, depends the material of the watch. And here we have a very good example of a watch of this type made roughly 1940. Okay, it's typical of what Patek produced. It's a double signed Bayer in Zurich, who was one of the biggest retailer of Patek at the time.
So the design is so classic. I mean, I love the hands, everything about it is, and that kind of translated, I think, into the wristwatches or vice versa. But it's a beautiful watch. So the estimate is, what is it? It's for
yes, something like that, 4,000 to 8,000.
So it looks like 5,000 to 10,000, and the current bid is only 4,400. So this is like, this is a pretty good deal if it sells at that price. That's like a steal. And then you have the two-tone, the pink. Is that a pink gold next to it right there?
Yes, exactly. But you have to understand at the moment these pocket watches are really undervalued because since more of 1 decade, people really collect vintage wristwatches, and the market was very strong for this type of pieces in the 1980s, 1990s. But after, when the wristwatch go up on the pocket watches, this market was a little bit down, and now it's a good time to buy some of the fabulous example. And this one also, it's a kind of a modern shape, very elegant, typical of the Art Deco period, and you can see it's a two-tone dial. And the dial also is in amazing condition, and it's very typical of what Patek Philippe produced at this time.
Now I'm looking at the catalog. It looks like it's got also a double signature. Is it double signature from Eberhard, Milan?
Not this one. Maybe another lot. The lot 8. It was maybe the lot number 6 who have a double.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm looking. Okay, that's right. You're showing lot number 8 right now.
Yes,
lot 8.
Yes.
This is it. Okay. And this is, so it's kind of, so this is this a two-tone kind of? Is this a pink on, is this technically?
The watch, the case is fully made in pink gold, and the dial is a two-tone tone.
Okay. And that's, and Ali loves the two-tone gold watches, I think, right?
Yeah, the two-tone, three-tone is already the favorite of Ali. It's why he has also amazing private collection about this type of things.
Okay. Now I want to ask you a question in terms of pocket watches. I really do think that pocket watches is. We talked about it on the last live stream. We can spend hours about this, but in terms of how do you feel about pocket watches? My kind of the theory I have, and tell me if this is completely crazy, but the real pocket watches would have to be up until, let's say, the 1930s, maybe, because at that point wristwatches took over, so that it's a different modern. I would consider this almost a modern pocket watch. 1940s, 30s, 40s. It's almost a modern era.
Yeah, everything was made after the World War One, in the 1920s and later. We can call them modern watches. Especially it was during the Art Deco period for the German, the Bauhaus style. And of course, the shape of the case changed from the basin shape, was very fashionable in the early 1900s. Now, after the 1920s, the pieces become more square, more modern shape.
But how do you feel in terms of? I wish we could have Ali also, because he can talk about the market. But how do you feel about I hate to use the word, but in upside potential, the investment potential, sort of modern pocket watches, meaning like 1930s through 50s or 60s versus the historically traditional, 19th century or earlier. Because I kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say is I kind of feel that, once the wristwatch became popular starting in the, I guess, 1920s, 30s, the pocket watch became obsolete. So it's almost like where people, it's a different kind of era for does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes, and especially these pocket watches were most used as dress watches for evening events, for example, when you have to go to a party, to the opera, to the restaurant, things like that. People still wearing a three-piece suit, and they wear this type of watches. But at the end, most of these watches from this period are kept in really, very good condition because they are very little. People use not as a daily watch, like a wristwatch. And they use sometimes, and most of them you can find with untouched dial, original condition.
Okay, so that's an interesting point, right? Because I think these sort of modern era pocket watches, people maybe, like you said, they wore them on special occasions. It was, they almost, I think a lot of them were given maybe as gifts, and they were probably kept in the box, and that's it. That's nobody,
That's
so it's
why
interesting.
we can find more easily. It's more easily to find a pristine condition pocket watch from this period, the 20s, 30s, 40s, than a wristwatch. And for me, it's very important because you can really study, especially this 2-tone, 3-tone, sector dial, all the dial used in the wristwatches was, of course, used at the same period in the pocket watches. And more often, you find this dial in perfect condition on the pocket watches, and it's a good point of reference for experts to really understand the condition of untouched dial in comparison of a dial who can be restored later.
Arnaud, I want to bring up lot 15, which is the amazing pocket watch. That's a tell us about this watch, and we need to hear the watch also.
Yes, he'll strike the watch.
The show-stopping BMW i4 is electricity in its most powerful form, an impressive range and the power of over 500 horses. BMW, the ultimate electric driving machine. Build your own all-electric BMW i4 today.
Lifesavers Gummies. Up the wow.
From technical point of view, the movement is built on a repeater movement caliber. He strikes elapsed hours, and after a double sound for the quarter, and after the minutes. And this one is also fitted with a perpetual calendar and moon face. About this one, it's also fitted in a very modern, heavy, super elegant case. This one was made on special request in 1962. The year Patek launched the new Perpetual Calendar wristwatch reference 3448, who was also fitted with a very modern case at the time. And about records I have in my memory from the 1990s, when I spoke with Mr. Peter Knoll, who showed me some photos of this collection and some of them when he came in Geneva from New York. I remember this watch. This watch, in my opinion, but it was also confirmed by a few people like Mr. Auro Montanari and some other old expert in Geneva. This one was especially made for Peter Knoll, who was the son of the Knoll family, the famous
Furniture
furniture
people?
designer. Yes, yes.
Oh, really? Boy,
Yes, and
this was
Peter.
made. This was made. So this. Okay, so this is a perpetual calendar minute repeater. Now
Yes.
the movement. Okay, the camera just went out, but the camera went dark.
Yeah,
But
it will coming back soon.
there we go. Okay, so the movement is from the 19th century, right?
Yes, they use, like very often they do at Patek Philippe, donc they still have some ébauche or they still have some movement, but here, on the request of the gentleman, it was a watch, a full watch was made in the 1970s, sold in the 1970s, and when he come in Geneva, he requested to change the case and to make a new dial with a new layout, more modern. Maybe the enamel dial was broken, maybe the condition of the case was maybe a little bit used, but in any case, they take the movement with the Perpetual Calendar device and they made a new dial and they fit all of that with this new, very heavy, impressive case. Donc they give to the watch a reference number. And in fact, it's the only one was this reference 862, if I properly remember. If you can see stamped inside with all the Patek data.
Okay, and this is, we got an estimate of 100 to 200,000. The current bid is 82,000. And so this was made for, you said, was it the son of the Knoll furniture? Was it France? Was it I think Francis. All right, welcome back, watch fans. Right, we're going to be starting now with the Sotheby's auction preview. Hang on a second, let me get things set up. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. All right, welcome back, watch fans. Today we are doing the Sotheby's Hong Kong October 4th Important Watches auction preview. There's almost 600 lots in this sale, 600 lots. And again, everything from, 60s, 70s vintage, if you want to call it neo vintage. And of course, we also have plenty of modern watches. So really, it's a complete cross section of the entire watch market. So let's get into it. We'll start off kind of at the low end, and let me just pull up what is Hong Kong dollar right now, just so we get kind of latest. What is it? Where are we? Pull this up. HKD to USD. It's about 8 cents, right? 8 cents USD to HKD, right? USD to HKD. Yeah, well, let's call it roughly 8 to 1. So whatever numbers we're going to be seeing on the screen, it's roughly an 8 to 1. And let me just pull this up. Okay, and if anybody wants to hop on the panel, we can do that. Comments, here we go. Okay. All right, first watch of interest. Rolex Day Date. Pretty interesting. This is like a really, very kind of its time, late 80s, early 90s. This is circa 1989. Really, really weird, kind of a weird design, right? I mean, what are we looking at? We're looking at I think this is white gold and yellow. Yeah, it's yellow gold and white gold. So it's a two-tone. So you got two-tone. So, Rolex was doing these, wild experiments in the late 80s with, what is it? They try, what they call it? What's the watch that they did, the Day Date, which had like 3 metal colors on it? Not the tricolor, it'll come to me. Anyway, it was like, there was like 3 tones on that center, on the center link. And here we have white gold, yellow gold, with these diamonds on this Jubilee bracelet. I mean, it's actually, when you think about it, it's actually kind of a cool design. I'm really never a fan of diamonds, on the bezel or the bezel, if you want to call it that. Never a fan of that. It just looks a little feminine. If it didn't have that, if it was more of just a traditional Rolex bezel, I think it would look a million times better. But here we are nonetheless. So, what is this going? Now, again, this watch, I mean, not really my taste, but definitely something very interesting and pretty rare. You're not going to find anything like this. And what is the bidding is at, what's the estimate? Hang on a second. So roughly, let's call 20 to 25,000. I mean, it's basically I think, look, if you can get this watch around 25 grand, all in, you're going to be very happy, I believe, in my opinion. This is like long term. There's going to be an interest in these. I mean, this is so kind of like garish and funky. It's just kind of one of those watches. It's more of a statement. It's one of those watches that you have when you got 20 other watches. Not your daily wear, but definitely it's very, very collectible. Okay, moving on. Stella dials, also something very hot. Bark finish, and we're at 240,000. So that's like, what is it, 30 to 40,000 US roughly for the Stella dial. I think if it didn't have the bark finish, it would probably be higher, right? The bark finish. Not a lot of people are fans of this bark finish. Let's take a look. Let's keep going here. What else? Okay, we got the John Mayer, which is, and I'm going to get to some of the interesting stuff later on. They got some really interesting pieces in the auction. So this John Mayer is, it's got some stickers on it. If you look on it, it's got this watch has probably never really been worn. As you can see, there's got some, you got some of the plastic, the stickers on the lugs, on the crown guards. So it's, I don't know. Yeah, you see at the bottom, you see the plastic. The plastic is still on, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyhow, so this is 320. So 40 to 50,000 roughly, 40 to 45,000 roughly. So they'll probably go for like 60 grand all in. And these should be selling for, look, these should be going for like 35 grand. The white gold version with the blue dial is really the most undervalued, and that's really the way to go for the Daytona, if you're going to go the Daytona route. Let's keep going. Let me get to some of the interesting stuff. So again, they have everything in multiples at the sale. So the one thing you want to watch in this upcoming auction is this is going to kind of set the tone for the market, because it's not just a one-off. I mean, they have multiples of each, right? They got multiple Daytonas across all the models. Breguet, they got multiple Breguets, Day Dates. So it's a full cross section of the watch market, right? So what we're going to see, October 4th next week. What is it? Later this week. That's going to set the tone for the market for the next couple of months, I believe. Again, we got this. What is it? The Crown Collection. We know we got some fans of this, and of course, I got partial stickers on it. It's probably almost never been worn. So roughly 18 to 20 grand, roughly, US. Probably sell for 25,000 plus premium, I think. I mean, nothing too exciting. We got Breguets. Let's see. And all right. Now, by the way, as I'm scrolling through there. If there's anything you want to focus on, let me know, and we will talk about it. Here we go. Again, more Crown collection. Breguet is actually becoming. There's actually, I think, quite a lot of value in Breguet. I think people are going to kind of turn to these. These watches might have been ahead of their time when they came out. It was definitely a little bit ahead of its time, and now you see a lot of these independent watchmakers like MB&F. They're doing this kind of design, right? I mean, they were all doing it at the same time, but look, I mean, you can buy an MB&F and you're going to pay $100, I don't know, let's call it 75 grand for something that looks very, very similar. And the workmanship, is it going to be as good? I don't think it's going to be as good. I don't know. Breguet doesn't quite get the, they don't kind of get the respect they deserve. But, okay, so 8. So it's about 40 grand roughly, right? 40 grand roughly for this watch. I don't know. You tell me. What would you rather have, a Breguet or a? Hang on a second. Let me back up. Skeleton tourbillon. So wait, the tourbillon. The tourbillon is where? That's the tourbillon. I didn't even notice that. It's actually kind of ugly, to be honest with you. It's kind of very a little rough. Looks a little rough around the edges, kind of like MB&F, or some of these other guys. But yeah, it's a little funky. Yeah, a little funky. I mean, I think they did they got it more refined a little bit down the road. So there we go. Kind of the more refined version. You got the tourbillon. You got is this white gold or platinum? Platinum. Okay. Platinum. You got the nice engraving. Yeah, I'm like, oh, look, everything you want. And this is how much? This is going to be about 35 grand, roughly 35 grand. Compared to what else is out there on the market in the independent brands. I don't know. It seems like not a bad deal. Let's see. Okay, Vacheron Perpetual. This is okay. So this is something which is going to be more interesting. The Vacheron historically has always, or I should say in recent years, quite undervalued compared to its peers. Different reasons we can get into. But, you're getting a perpetual calendar, skeletonized, again, not too many of these out there. Roughly 30 grand. I don't know. I have a feeling these are going to kind of might sell cheap. These might go cheap. What does it come with? Nothing, just a watch. 30 grand roughly for this. The one thing I don't like about Vacheron Perpetuals is on the calendar, you got a 4-year perpetual, but they combine all 4 years. It's a real mess. I'm just not a fan of that. I don't know why they do that. Just looks like a hot mess. Okay, so you got your basic time only for about, this could be going for about 15 grand, 20 grand. Is that right? This might go for around 20 grand. Interesting. Okay, no, not for everybody. A lot of diamonds here. Let's see here. Let's take a look. Okay, now we know that we got Bruce Lee, our Hong Kong super collector. He has one of these in full gold, with full gold bracelet, yellow gold. So it's the Perpetual Calendar Minute Repeater. And here we're going for roughly 40 to 50,000. 40 to 50 grand here. That's the estimate. Okay, so this is okay. Okay, so I don't know. This might have some issues. This watch may have some issues selling because of the inscription on the back. Yeah, it says in memory of my father. It's a little too much, that's a little bit too, I know that in Asian culture, you don't want to be associated with like death. And this may have, I'm surprised they took this. This may have bad feng shui, seriously. Like, I mean, I don't know. This is like, was it owned by the father? But basically, no, the watch is associated with death, essentially. I mean, it's in memory of the guy's father, right? That's a little bit too, I don't know about that. I think that's bad feng shui. Unless somebody can, I don't know, remove that engraving or something, but that's not, I think this lot is going to pass. This is going to have a hard time in Hong Kong, especially. So you gotta check everything on these. You gotta check everything. Roger Dubuis, or Roger Dubious, as some like to call him. Retrograde. Wow, interesting. Perpetual Calendar. We're seeing the shaped cases. The market for the shaped cases has been heating up, and the early Roger Dubuis could be kind of undervalued here. What is this going for? The estimate is 140,000 Hong Kong. That's 10,000. That's like 15, 18 grand maybe. 20,000 is the estimate. And let's compare to somebody very similar, which is Daniel Roth of that era. So Daniel Roth versus Roger Dubuis. They're both kind of doing something similar right around that early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. I think that Daniel Roth is probably a more pure design. But I think at some point this Roger Dubuis is going to find its market. It's going to find its market, and let me see here. Yeah, at some point that has to find its market, right? Prices get cheap enough, people get interested. Let's see, we got some Perpetual Calendar, 3940. This is second series, 1988. Retailed by Bayer, but where is... Oh, is that a sticker? Retailed by Bayer. Let's take a look. Second series, okay. Okay, yeah, second series. And what are we at, 25, 30,000? That's kind of the low estimate on this. It's probably going to go for, again, it looks like it's a watch only. No display back, no, it doesn't have all the good stuff. No pusher, little tool. So this might get like 30, low 30s probably. Probably low 30s. Let's see. Hey, look at this, Marcelo. Hey, konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu. Marcelo-san. We got, let's take a look. So we got, let's keep rolling through here. Yeah. Okay. Is this thing stuck? Okay, there we go. Okay. Shit. What happened here? All right. Slight internet problem. Stand by. Here we go. Okay, let's get to the interesting stuff here. All right. Enough with the garbage. Philippe Dufour, hang on. We got Philippe Dufour, which we've heard some of the punters here talk about all the great things about Philippe Dufour. I don't know. I mean, like, what? Just because it's well decorated, it's well made. I'm not sold on this. I'm really not sold on this. So this is 3 million Hong Kong dollars is almost what is that? Hang on a second. How much is that? Let's do this. Let me do the math. Wait, 385. Wait, 300 grand, 385,000? No. Yeah. Is this? Is this crazy? 385,000 for this watch? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't understand it. 4 million Hong Kong dollars. That's like, 300 grand plus. 400 grand. So what is so special about this? I mean, okay, it's beautifully finished. Okay, great. Phenomenal. Okay, so what? Time-only watch. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold. Okay. Daniel Roth, at least with Daniel Roth, you're getting something that looks, it looks beautiful. And I think it's fair to say that definitely FP Journe, took some inspiration from kind of this design with, all, heavy on the inscriptions. Yeah, this is actually a pretty cool watch. I think it's kind of ahead of its time. I mean, this is like, again, this is 30 years ago, and it looks very fresh. Again, almost a 30-year-old watch in this design. Tourbillon, that's what he kind of. I think if you're going to get a Daniel Roth, you want a tourbillon. You want one of these early ones. And so this is about 25 to 30 grand. I think we're looking at as the estimate, which is, I think, again, when you compare, let's say, Daniel Roth to FP Journe, I think the comparison is quite, I think it's pretty much apples to apples because, you could both say historically important. You could say, you could go through the whole thing. I would say both of these guys, and what happened? Oh, man, what is... Okay, I would say between Daniel Roth, FP Journe, it's almost an apples to apples comparison. Very close, very close. Yeah, very, very close comparison. So, would you rather get, a Daniel Roth for 25 grand or an FP Journe for, a couple hundred? I think I'd rather go with the Daniel Roth. I think the Daniel Roth has less downside, right, and more upside versus FP Journe. FP Journe could be a bit of a bubble, right? I get it. Very important, all this other stuff. But you know what? Very easy. It's very easy for these things to deflate, opinions to change very quickly. It's not going to get any worse for Daniel Roth. I mean, Daniel Roth has been kind of coming out of the bottom for the last couple of years, whereas FP Journe, I think, might be priced to perfection. So, yeah, I would say that way. Look, FP Journe is basically priced to perfection. If collectors get, finicky, whatever it is, the price for FP Journe could collapse. Whereas Daniel Roth, again, same high horology, whatever, a little bit more or less. I don't know. I think I'd rather go with the Daniel Roth. And also more interesting case design. And again, oh, wow, the internet is so slow. The internet. What's going on with my internet? Okay. I don't know if it's theirs or mine. So FP Journe here, we got this, what do we got? Tourbillon, Power Reserve. And again, you can kind of see what the guy's doing, right? You can see kind of the inspiration a little bit from that earlier Breguet. A little bit of Daniel Roth, with a lot of the heavy on the inscriptions on the front. So, FP Journe, not so pure. I get the whole story. But you know what? I wouldn't get too high on that Kool-Aid. Okay, so we got the Frank Muller, which again interesting, but I think this is a late model, so I'm not going to really look at it. Patek Aquanauts, quite a few Aquanauts here. I think if you're going to go for one of these early Aquanauts, if you're going to go for that, you might as well go for the full gold instead of the steel. It's more interesting. The black rubber, you know, if you're doing this black dot, black rubber with the yellow gold, it's a much more, you know, much more striking. And what is this thing here? This thing is probably about 30 grand is what it's gonna sell for, somewhere in that range. 30,000. Okay, we got unsealed Patek. 5712. Wow. Still in the plastic. So that's the question. What do you do with this? I mean, I think it's just so ridiculous when people keep these things in the plastic and they don't enjoy it. You know, it's just, and you know what? There's really nothing special about this watch, right? When you think about it, it's just a mass production luxury watch. To keep it in the plastic like it's some, like, I don't know, the Holy Grail or something. Come on. So this is going to go for, I don't know, could go for close to 100, over 100 grand, easy. Easy. I mean, this is crazy. 3700s, beautiful. Wow, this is nice. Always great to see a Patek Jumbo 3700. This looks like it's in pretty good condition. Yeah. This looks like in pretty good condition. You got some papers, so maybe 80 grand, 80,000 US roughly for this. Let's take a look. Oh, can't see the back of the clasp. You know, you always want to look at the back of that clasp to see how much wear there is on that on the logo, because that's kind of yeah. I do want to see that. Okay, you got kind of your basic stuff, Journes. Let's get into the really interesting things. So this you're not going to see too much of. So again, we got the Cartier Bamboo. Cartier is so hot, and again, for whatever reason, but you know, this is kind of you know, I've seen the Cartier Bamboos. You don't see this. You don't really see this kind of design. I call it the Big Bamboo. Maybe we'll call it that. 1996. It's quartz, though. That's the problem. It's quartz. It might get decent money. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing sells for like 15, 20 grand. Too bad it's only a quartz. Okay, you got some more Cartiers. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's get to the interest. Okay, we got the Crash. So again, in this auction, you're gonna see multiple Cartiers. So you got the Crash, which is gonna go for, I don't know, 100 grand plus. I don't know. Is it worth it? This is circa 2000. Way overhyped right now. I think very high rate. I think any Cartier right now you're taking off. I think we're definitely at the peak of the market. It's not going to get any better. I mean, people look. The problem with these shapes. Here's the problem when you go for something like this, right? Asymmetric, all this other stuff. You're going to get bored with this because it's a very specific look, right? Like you're not going to wear this every day. You're just going to get bored. And I think people are going to get bored with these, even though they're not wearing them every day. And they're just going to move on to the next thing. I mean, like this watch, can you wear this every day? I mean, it's kind of, you get sick of it after a while. So I think we're seeing peak Cartier right now. And it's something we talked about here, 6-9 months ago. Yeah, we're definitely seeing peak Cartier. Okay, so we got something interesting here. Rolex Submariner. This is the what do they call it? Saru, whatever. Okay. Gem set, right? Sapphires, diamonds. You got stickers still on it, right? You got the stickers on it still. 100 grand plus, right? 100. Beautiful. Wow, what a beautiful dial, though. That's actually the sunburst blue is really nice. I mean, this is a pretty good look. The white lume markers, the sunburst. I mean, it's got everything going for it. The problem with it is you can't. I mean, like, you can't really use it. I mean, the function is gone. You can't really see the numbers, right? Because it's covered by sapphires. So what's the point of these? I don't know what the point is. Here's the GMT. Same idea. Like, you really can't tell. You can't use it because, it's all covered up by the gems. Again, 100 to 120 roughly. So this is the issue I have with these. I get the idea you want to have some gems, but then it totally destroys the functionality, right? It destroys the functionality of the watch. So I think at some point people are going to wake up to that, and I think that could create some downside for these watches, because this is just, it's basically like, I mean, technically it's a tool watch, right? So it's almost like, hey, you have, like a tool. Okay, let's say you got an AK-47. What are you gonna cover it with diamonds, or gold plated and whatever? You're gonna take away some functionality, right? Especially here. I mean, the numbers are they're not there. They're illegible. Okay, so you got more Patek unsealed. Let's get to the interesting stuff. We do have a couple of interesting items here I want to cover here. This 300 watches. I don't have time to go through all of these here. Again, you got a lot of basic modern watches here. And again, this auction will set the tone for what's going on. 40th anniversary. Okay, this is kind of a little bit interesting. So this is platinum 40th anniversary 2017. So 300 grand is the low estimate, roughly 300,000 US. I mean, the dial, the blue is beautiful, right? But you know what? If you got 300 grand to spend, you want something similar, I'd rather get the Perpetual Calendar. I think it's a much better deal. I think the Perpetual Calendar is a much better deal for, less than 200, 180 maybe. Hang on a second, let me just see. Do we have? Okay. So let's take a look. Yeah, and by the way, the Perpetual Calendar is. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Hey, sorry, I didn't zoom in properly. Okay. So the blue on this is actually quite stunning. But the Perpetual Calendar has that same blue dial, right? It doesn't have the baguette markers. So the baguette markers, I don't know, is it worth it? Yeah, they look pretty nice. The problem is, it's kind of they take up a lot of space. They do take up a lot of space. I haven't seen one of these in person, so I don't know what it looks like in person. It's probably not bad, right? But yeah, platinum with the diamond markers, great look. But I'll tell you what, for the same money, I would rather get, or actually less money, I would rather get the AP Royal Oak white gold with the baguette diamonds. It's a much cleaner, more timeless design, beautiful white, Tiffany blue, or whatever you want to call it, baby blue, sky blue. One of our community members has one. That's a Witch Watch 63. He's got one of those. I would rather go for the watch that he has, which is you can get for under 200 versus this, maybe even 150 versus this. 40th anniversary or whatever. Yeah, do I want to see the 40th anniversary on the dial? I don't know. I mean, it's a good looking watch. I bet in person it's amazing. With the diamonds, the whole thing is the You know what? I think for this watch, you really need to experience it, because again, the platinum, it's a thin watch, but the platinum gives it heft. You get the diamond markers. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on here, which you really can't appreciate unless you see it in person. And then you can say, okay, you know what? Okay, I understand why it's worth, let's call it 300 versus, 100. But you know what? If you're going to buy a 5711 steel for, I don't know, 80, 90 grand, whatever it is now, 80 grand, I'd rather spend a little extra money and get the platinum. That's the way to go. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your nasty and vicious comments below. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, we got the usual stuff. Okay, blah, 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 Patek, modern Patek. Okay, this we're not going to see too much of. So handcraft, Patek handcraft edition 2021 cloisonné. This is a women's watch, really, but I got to tell you, in person, it's amazing. Enamel cloisonné. The dial is, it's actually a stunning design. Nice strap choice here, right? The diamonds here on the bezel might be a little too much, it's probably for the Japanese market. It's a very Japanese type of thing. Yeah, this is definitely going to Japan, this watch. So that's going to be about 100 grand roughly for those. Let's see what else is interesting here. Flyback chronograph. Okay, we've seen these. Okay, let's talk about something special. So this is the World Time Minute Repeater. And you get the beautiful, actually, of all the Patek, those, enamel, cloisonné, whatever designs. This is a really nice design. You got this little sailboat, I guess, on Lake Geneva, Lac Le Mans, as I guess they call it there. You get a minute repeater, and this is going to be pricey. This is going to be like what, over $1 million, $1 million US. I think the retail is like 700, but they're going for like $1 million. Okay, so you got the lugs. You got this kind of like a modern lug design. You got the Clou de Paris, hobnail. I don't find it, honestly, I don't find it that inspiring. They got a lot of design elements here that they're kind of mixing in. And you got this modern era Patek. It's a really charming design. I'll tell you what else. You know what else bothers me is, I've talked about this before. Their fonts. The fonts that they use are so uninspired. You got $1 million watch. Couldn't come up with better fonts. I'm very concerned about where Patek is going to go with this kind of current in the modern age, because this is not. I don't think it's a good direction. And the minute repeater thing is, you know what? Okay, it's nice. It's rare. It's a very, it's unusual. It's very expensive on the watches. But you know what? Is it worth that much of a premium? Okay, so we got another one. We got the Celestial here in the wrapper. They get quite a few Richard Milles, right? Some Langenzoon. Let's see. I'll tell you, got some interesting things coming up a little bit further down there. RM 300. This is about 250, 300 grand. You know where I think the money is for RM? I think these kind of this shape here, without the diamonds, just the basic shape. If they would just do that, it's actually pretty cool. I mean, the case design is actually quite cool. It's innovative, right? You got the rubber strap, you got the whole deal. I think it's a much more timeless design than that tonneau shape that they do, which looks ridiculous. I mean, this shape, what is the point of this? I mean, this looks actually I think this is going to look old-fashioned after a while. I think in the next couple of years, people are going to have a hard time with these. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so you got some real rarities. Oh, hang on a second. This is oh, you know, I think that's right. One of our community members has one of these. That's Higgins. I think Jonathan Quayle Higgins, the third, as he calls himself, has this watch. It's got like a bicycle chain. It's a tourbillon with a bicycle chain. Okay, so this is shit. This is going to be how much? It's probably going to be something like 100. I don't know how well it'll do. I mean, it's not a very exciting watch. It's kind of a boring watch, right? I mean, the whole point of the watch is you tell people, oh, you got a bicycle chain in there or something, you know? I don't know. 100. It's roughly. It might sell for roughly 80 grand. 80 grand. Bit of a dog. The dial is uninspired. Leica actually makes some decent watches. I mean, there's something about them is a little bit creepy, frankly, but you know, they do make some interesting watches, especially if you can go for like pink gold with the black dial. Okay, so we get an RM tourbillon. What happens here? I don't know. I haven't seen this in person. Probably something very cool. So we really need to see what goes on. Is something animated here? Is it something moving? Does the snake move? I'm sure something is going on here because this is, yeah, I'm sure they're doing something special. The diamond setting actually looks pretty cool in this case. It's actually kind of interesting. It's an interesting design. It's kind of like sandwich that they've done. I mean, they've thought things out. Okay, so this is it. RM16. So I think on a plain, just a gold case, pink gold, it's a great looking watch. What is this going for? This might sell for about 60,000. So it's kind of an early, sort of an early RM. Leather strap, titanium. Okay, I think in pink gold. If you ever see these watches in pink gold, they're actually pretty cool if you can deal with the size and the whole thing. But yeah, I think the money for RM is those smaller cases. And it's interesting. People want the big case, but I don't know why they don't want to go too big for whatever reason. You know, maybe I'm weird, but I think actually that the round case is a better looking design than the tonneau. Just my opinion. Why are people not into it? Who knows? But it's probably value there. There's probably value. Although I think I would rather. Oh, look at this. What is this? What does this have? Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess these pushers, you can use these pushers to change the date or something. I don't know. Do you really need that? It's a bit of a gimmick. I think it's a bit of a gimmick. I mean, it's a bit of a gimmick. I don't know. For 100 grand, I think there's just better stuff out there. And look, RM. I think if you want RM, you want like something more wild. You want the more wild design. Let's see. Okay, we've seen this. Let's take a look. Ming is interesting. It's interesting. I've never seen this type of Calatrava bracelet. This is pretty a white gold Calatrava bracelet. I mean, the watch itself is, whatever, boring. And this is probably going to go cheap. This is probably going to go for like 20 grand, 25 grand. Could be a good value. For 20 grand, I think this could be a very good value, actually. Because you can always take the bracelet off, put on a strap. I'm not a fan of the date window. I think it interrupts the design. But let's see. Okay. Ooh, 53.96. So they have this version of this watch. I mean, okay, so the bracelet makes a big difference in the experience, I think. On a strap, I don't think it's as good. On a bracelet, it could be interesting. And I looked at this with the blue dial, and it was actually a good-looking watch. So this is roughly 30. So this is going to sell for roughly 40 grand, I think, 40 grand roughly, which is maybe less. This might go for, this might go for like 35 grand, maybe 40,000 all in. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we've seen this Journe, Blancpain. Okay, same watch as we saw, 53.96. Dial. I don't know what it is about this particular dial. This has kind of like it has a kind of an interesting look. Something about the opaline and the rose gold. Something here really works. It's got. Oh, wait. Oh, and it's got the Tiffany dust seal. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've seen this before. And I don't know why this watch. Is this a good picture? Interesting. Look, it looks actually pretty good. It's actually looking pretty good in here. I think we know one of our punters has one of these. I think he got it at the store. I don't know why they sold it to him, but so this is going to have an estimate of roughly. How much is this going to go for? So 280, again, divide by 8, 30, 40, so 40, so something like 40, probably 50 grand all in, 50,000 all in. Probably going to go for below the actual retail price. And again, Patek at retail, I wouldn't go for it right now. Let's see. We got the Royal Oak. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, we've seen this, Royal Oaks. Okay, whatever. Okay. let's see. Okay, I've seen these Parmigiani. I think the second part of the sale gets more interesting. The second part of the auction, they're going to have 600 lots. So you get a dual time MB&F. These are becoming very, very hot. A legacy machine. Easily, this is going to exceed the estimate, over 100 grand for this. Okay, handwork, more handwork. Handcraft, Patek Philippe. We've seen this thing with a rabbit. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know the subject matter. 2 rabbits. I don't know, it was like a year of the rabbit thing or something in China. I don't know. The Chinese zodiac calendar with the rabbits. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Something about, rabbits are basically like rats. I don't know if you want to have rats on your watch. And I mean, I think, look, rabbits are cute animals, but basically they're like rodents. So do you want to have that? I mean, have it on your watch? I mean, it's beautifully done. It's wood marquetry. So again, this is a tiny little piece of wood. Look what an incredible job they did with the ears. Again, it's all tiny little piece of wood marquetry. The eyes, I mean, that is, I'm thinking of it. Okay, it's like incredible craftsmanship, wrong subject, right? But I mean, here's the thing: if you look at it, the craftsmanship is amazing because the money is kind of in the eye, right? Very few people. I mean, you got to be a real master to be able to pull that off, because they look lifelike, right? It's a little piece of white wood, whatever they do, the marquetry, to make that eye. It has like a glisten. It looks moist, right? The eyes of these rabbits, they look moist. It looks lifelike. I mean, that is the mark of, like, an incredible artist. So whoever did this, my hat's off to them. Just like, does it have to? I don't know. Rabbits. I don't know. Rabbits, of all animals, you got to use rabbits. But the craftsmanship here is absolutely amazing. Again, it's all wood. It's a little piece of wood, marquetry, microscopic wood. I mean, this thing should be selling for 10 times as much. But anyway, it's going to go pretty cheap. It's going to go for probably under 100 grand. I'd say probably 80 grand. But the craftsmanship is amazing. And my hat's off to the Stern family, the Patek Philippe Stern family, for, doing this work. I mean, look, the modern watches that they're doing are like, a lot of them are horrible designs, but at least, they're kind of supporting the art, so to speak, supporting this craftsmanship. Anyway, Urwerk. So one of our community members, Bruce Lee, not a fan of Urwerk. He's basically not a fan of these guys, although he's big on crazy watches. But he's sort of like, hey, they're not. I guess he's saying that that's kind of like this concept of the or the star wheel, whatever. Yeah. Interesting. Again, 2011. So it's almost a 2014. So it's like a 10-year-old design. It's actually pretty good for 10 years back. It's relatively very kind of ahead of its time. Let's see, Bovet. Okay, finally they have a Bovet watch that doesn't look like a weird watch. Ooh. Wow. Okay, this is a lot going on. So it's got some astronomical function. What is this? Limited edition platinum skeletons, flying tourbillon with the retrograde double-sided retrograde moon phase, three-dimensional globe. I think it has some sort of astronomical function here. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, this is a Bill Sanders type of watch. This is just too much horology for the average person to appreciate. Wow, look at this shape here. Crazy. Very interesting. Okay, so what's the problem with this watch? The problem is, I don't know, it's a 1982, so it's a Perpetual Calendar Minute Repeater, but I don't know if it's made in 1982, does it count as a pocket watch? I don't think it does. I think it has to be a cutoff point. I mean, it's kind of like an obsolete thing. Why would somebody make a pocket watch in 1982? That's, basically just a plain pocket watch. Granted, it's a minute repeater and all that. Let's see. Okay, so you got some beautiful, Rolex Paul Newman. Okay, whatever. 200 grand. Okay. Beautiful pink gold Calatrava. 1995. So this is small. I think this is a small case. 30. How many millimeter? 30 millimeter. Is this a woman's watch? I think it's a woman's watch. 30 millimeter. I think this could be. I don't know if it's a woman's watch or not. I don't know. They did make some small cases, which might be a little small. I don't know. It's a little. That might be a little small. And again, I'm all for classic shapes, but that might be a little small. Okay, 3940. The blue chip of Rolex. 1991. Was it second series? Is this rose gold? No, yellow gold. Yellow gold's got this kind of honey color. All right, so what is the deal? This is going to be a roughly, I don't know, 40 grand plus. You're not getting a display back, the tool, the box. You're not getting any of that. You are getting a certificate of origin, which is okay. Oh, and you don't have a deployment clasp. That's like 3 grand. So, we get the Landlord watch. Tiffany dial. Landlord watch, Tiffany dial. 30 to 40,000 roughly. Okay, so this is actually kind of interesting, right? This is 30 to 40,000. Again, you're getting that Tiffany dial that everybody wants. You're just going to have, look at this, just a messy, it's got stickers still. There we go. All right. Yes, 30, 40. I think it's a good price. Wow. So this is something you don't see too much of. White gold. This white gold case. It's like a ghost. It's like a ghost watch. Probably sold in Japan. And this is probably going to sell for, I don't know, I would say roughly 20 grand. Is there a buckle? We don't see a buckle. You got to have a Patek buckle. Oh, yeah, it does have a Patek buckle. Okay. They say it does. 35 millimeter. It comes with a box. And it comes with the extract from the archives. What's the condition? It's hard to tell from this dial. It looks like it's got some funky oxidation. Oh, shit. This ruins it for me. Look at that. This kind of ruins it for me. I mean, with that watch, no audio? There's no audio? This guy trolling me? No, I got audio. Wait. No audio. Hang on a second. I don't know. Let's find out. It is a little weird. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. I don't know if there's no audio. All right. We get the Baron member, a member of the channel. Baron Memovox. I don't know. I guess he joined in late here. But anyway, so this kind of ruins it for me, frankly. This, if you have this like very clean modern design on a watch, like a Patek, you want something in good condition. And, shit. It's like, something must have leaked in there from the crown guard. It's got this rusting and oxidation. It's not good. I mean, I guess it can be, and the problem is, if you get it, restored, then everybody says, "Oh, it's not original. Oh, it's this." That's not true. But it is a nice looking watch, and you're not going to see these. I mean, this is like, I've seen this in yellow gold. Never seen this in white gold. Like, this is relatively common. Without the bracelet, it's relatively common. But okay, so I'm not gonna go into this Patek super vintage. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Wow, we got a big super chat. Danish kroner, 50 Danish kroner. Wow, from Baron Memovox. I mean, 50 Danish. I don't even know how much that is in dollars. Is that like $1? I don't know. Can I buy a Danish with that? All right. Baron Memovox. Thank you for the super chat. How about this? What do you guys think of the two-tone Daytona? Look, if you're going to go for a Daytona, you know what's strange? I'll tell you what's strange is the Daytona is actually a very small watch. You have all these guys say, "Oh yeah, it's got to be 42 millimeter, 40 what," and then they buy Daytonas. And I look at it when you see a Daytona. What is it? It's 37 millimeter. I don't think it's. I mean, they claim it's 40 millimeter, but it really looks small. It does look small. Maybe because of the bezel. I don't know what's going on. But the Daytonas, they wear small compared to a regular, 40 millimeter. I gotta say, this watch in a black dial, yellow gold, two-tone black dial. I think it's a great look, and you can get it for under 20 grand. Not, I'm not a chronograph guy, but if I was, I definitely would get one in two-tone. How about this? You get this funky dial. Hopefully that was natural. Nipple dial. It's got like a sea green. You get a sea green dial. You know, the thing with these tropical dials, I don't know. I'm always paranoid. You never know. Was it done? I don't know. You get a sticker. Is that natural? I mean, could I don't know. Something doesn't add up. Can you have a dial? Okay, can you have a dial go tropical, meaning it had to have a lot of exposure to sunlight, and the guy still wore it with a sticker on the back? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Too many. I don't know. What are the odds of that? Something doesn't quite. I don't know. It could be one or the other. How much sunlight exposure do you need for this thing to go to turn green? And if you had that much outdoor sunlight exposure, how would you still have a sticker? Although it's falling apart. Maybe you had a plastic. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's like too many variables coming together. It's the odds of those two variables together is, you know, we don't know. Oh, there we go. Nice color trap. I mean, this is relatively simple, right? This is like a this is going to be like 10 grand, 30 millimeter. This is this is like a mid-size. It's a weird mid-size. Okay, here we go to the heavy hitters. Perpetual Calendar Minute Repeater. So this is the real deal. So this is going to be, I don't know, 400,000. So interesting. So I guess the question is, do you get the regular watch for, let's call it, I don't know, 40,000, or do you get the minute repeater so you can hear a little sound every once in a while for 10 times that? Otherwise, it's the same watch. Actually, no, I guess the case is a little different. You know, it's handmade, whatever, a little more artisanal. You got this other rotor. I don't know if it's, I don't know, is that a micro? I don't know if it's a micro rotor. Oh yeah, that's the case maker, Jean-Pierre Hagman. So he made the case. Okay, great. But you know what? Oh yeah, it's a little different. It's a little bit different than the regular 3940 case. Nothing amazing. It isn't. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a very, you know, restrained design. There's nothing amazing about it. So I don't really care who made it, frankly. I'm sure he's done some nice work. It's just this case is like, it wasn't super inspired. Okay, so we got some of these super vintage things, which I'm not. This is way out of my area. This is, what is it? Perpetual Calendar chronograph. 500,000-600,000, roughly 500 to 600 grand. And this leads us back to very similar look to like a Universal Genève, right? I think the Universal Genève is a better looking design. Same era. Universal Genève, I think, was much better. And you can get those for, I don't know, under 20, 15 grand. So, okay, the Daytona is whatever. The Daytona, couldn't care less about Daytonas. Okay, another minute repeater. Interesting, the Calatrava minute repeater. This is going to be 500. This is, I mean, this is shocking. I mean, this could go for 500 grand, more than 500 grand. Oh, okay. I'm looking. Okay, 1955. I just noticed. Look at the case here. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's the yeah, it's very similar to that. Was it 3848? I think it is, that Perpetual Calendar. Pretty nice. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is 3450. No, 3848, I think is the one. Anyway, beautiful. This is like, again, I think this is like the blue chip of Patek Philippe. This is like, if anybody wants to talk about, investment quality watch, blah, 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 this is it. This is it. Wow. I mean, one of the most beautiful designs that, I mean, this is probably one of their, like, I don't know. Let's say if they had top 10 most beautiful designs out of, I don't know, thousands of different designs that they've had, and they've had, I don't know, they must have had a couple thousand different designs. This is up there. This is like right up there. Easily the top 10. Perpetual Calendar, even though I hate these aperture windows, they did such a nice job here. And you got a display back with this big rotor. Yeah, you get this big rotor. That's nice. $34.48. That's the number. I get my number. Yeah, $34.48 was the predecessor. That or this, I think they're both like real blue chip. When it comes to Patek, that's like, this is what you want. Again, not investment advice. We're not here to give buy sell recommendation. This is not financial advice. This is strictly horological opinions. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below, and we will see you in the next one.